Hey. First of all, congratulations on signing with the UFC. How does it feel to be here, getting your kit, the whole experience?
It's a dream come true. That's for sure, dream come true. Everything I expected and a lot more also.
So how did this fight come about? Like, what was, did your manager call you? Was it something you were working on? Can you kind of tell us how it happened?
I had just got back from training. I was actually sitting on my computer. I game it a lot, so outside of training. So I was training. I was literally gaming it, and all of a sudden I get a call from my manager. Gets me on a conference call with my other manager, Marcos, and he told me, he's like, "Hey man, the call's here. I've been telling you. I hope you've been ready. I hope you're staying ready." And after that, he told me that I was going to be facing a veteran and a legend. So I automatically assumed, because I'd making call outs to Donald Cerrone beforehand, a couple months before that. And he's like, "Nah, you're going to face another guy who's possibly going to retire. It's not for sure." And then he told me it was Jim Miller, and I was super psyched. I was like, "Yo, just send me the contract right now. I'll sign it, whatever we got to do." And it was a 10-day notice, so I found out last Wednesday. And ever since then, I've just been grinding nonstop, 2-3 days.
So you've already made a little bit of history. I'm not sure if you're aware that the 38 fight gap is the longest in UFC history. Was there any, it doesn't sound like there was any hesitation when you heard the name.
No, not at all. If anything, that I have so much to gain, and I have nothing to lose. I just got to go out there and put on a show, and the goal is to take him out. I know he's a legend, a veteran. I have so much respect for Jim Miller, but I'm here to win, and I'm here to take over, and I think that the Ghost Pepper era is going to be coming.
Did you watch him growing up? Like, was that somebody you followed and were a fan of?
Yeah, actually I was. When I was in high school, I was watching him, so it's pretty crazy to know that I'll be fighting a guy that has been around for so long, and I'm definitely a fan of Jim Miller, without a doubt.
So talk to me about the matchup. How do you think it'll go?
Matchup-wise, he's a very high-level grappler. I think that he's going to try to take me out of the ground. So my game, as far as game plan and what I'm going to go when I go in there is keep my distance and really just making it a war. That's what I'm good at. I love engagements, and if it hits the ground, I'll be ready. I've been drilling nonstop on every single aspect that he's good at. So I don't think I'll have any trouble when it hits the ground. I'm very underrated with the grappling. A lot of people think that my grappling probably is the best just because I've been submitted twice in my career and I've only had one submission. But if you ever grapple with me, a lot of people will tell you, man, I'm a high-level grappler as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
So obviously, UFC debut is exciting enough, but I mean, main card as well. Does that add anything to it, or does position on a card even mean anything to you?
Oh, hell yeah, man. That adds. That's like the cherry on top of the cake, That's an amazing opportunity. I didn't find out till actually my mom sent me the actual news that I was on the main card. She sent me a picture, and I was like, wait, how the hell did you find this out before I did? And no, man, it's awesome, and I expect to put on a show, man. I want to impress the fans, and I want to get new fans, and I want to make some noise. So that's to be on the main card is absolutely a gift and a blessing itself.
And doing media, I mean, obviously a lot of guys don't do media on their first week of UFC debut. So I mean, does this add excitement? Does it add nerves? Is it just a pain in the ass? What is it?
No, man, this is all exciting. This is super, super exciting, man. I'm very blessed, man. I've been working so hard. I've been started 7 years ago. My dream was to get UFC before I hit 30. I'm 29, man, and I turned 30 in January. And this is the media and all this stuff is just so exciting to me. I'm pretty sure some veterans are probably like, oh, another media day. Nah, man, I'm fresh. I'm a fresh newbie. I'm a debuter. So to have this as my first fight and be on the main card to have this type of publicity and this type of marketing it's absolutely insane. It's so cool, man.
Yeah, obviously a lot of people are gonna say, look, man, Miller's one of the most experienced guys ever to do it. And you're getting here the first time, so he's got this experience advantage. But I guess there's a flip side in that you've probably seen him fight 20, 30 times. I'm guessing he probably hasn't seen you fight. No offense to that, I mean, do you think that plays into you as an advantage? Because you probably know exactly what he's going to do when he gets in there.
I know what to expect, so I definitely have an edge on that. I know what he likes to do. I know what his favoritisms are. I'm a big, when it comes to my next opponents, I always study film, man. My coach and I are just studying film, and I know what he loves to do. And you're probably right. He probably hasn't seen my fights, but I think that a veteran like himself won't make that mistake of not watching footage on me. You know, there's footage out there on me everywhere. So, you know, if he wants to just look me up real quick, he can find me on YouTube. And, you know, I don't think he'd go out there going out there without knowing what he's facing. So I'm sure he sees some sort of film or something, or his coaches or someone in his corner. So I think that I do have a slight advantage as far as what he likes to do, because I know what he's accustomed to and I know what he does. So I know what to expect, and I'm just going to go in there, have fun, and enjoy every single moment, every second, and embrace everything.
It's awesome. And what's the hope? I mean, is the hope to just, hey, let's get in there and get a win by whatever means necessary, or do you feel like you got to come in there and, you know, with this platform, like do something spectacular, make a splash in your debut?
Man, hell no, man. I'm going to go in there and just freaking, I'm going to knock him out, man. I'm going to go in there and TKO him. That's my goal, man. You know, no disrespect to Jim Miller, you know, because I know he probably will hear this. But, you know, my goal is to go in there and just finish in a devastating manner, man. I love my elbows. So, you know, if it hits the ground and I get on top, man, he's going to expect a lot of fucking elbows.
Nice. Last thing for me, you get this thing done. What's the plan moving forward? I mean, do you go on like this legend smashing tour or something? Like just give me everybody that's the most experienced out there, or what's the plan?
Hey, man, if they offer me another veteran, another legend, man, I'll take it, man. No problem, without a doubt, man. You know, if not many guys would get that opportunity, and I'm one of probably like the only one so far that I can recall off the top of my head. So if they want to give me another veteran, another legend after this, but I got to get through this fight first, and that's you know, that's my number one goal right now. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Carlos, I wanted to ask you, you know, you got a current 3-fight win streak, but a couple split decisions in there. So I'm just curious, you know, how happy you are with the win streak that you're on right now.
I'm very happy. It's like I said yesterday. I already expect this all the time. Since I start training MMA, I expect this. It's not a surprise for me.
Very nice. After your last win, you started calling out Andrei Arlovski, right? You're like, I want Andrei Arlovski. Give me that guy.
Yeah.
What was it about Andrei Arlovski that you're like, that's the guy I want?
Yeah, me and my team think he is he is like a gatekeeper of the division, so it's time to improve the challenge for me. Yeah, I think step by step now is the correct step.
Nice. Is there any concern on your part that you might upset him, you know, get him mad, and he's going to take this personal and come out, you know, more excited than he has in recent fights because you called him out?
I don't know, but if he get mad, I don't care. I respect him because of his career, but Saturday night I will not respect. I will show no respect for him in the octagon.
Very nice. Talk about your preparation for this fight. Did anything different, anything unique to this camp that you've changed this time around?
It was the best camp I ever had, and we increased the physical preparation. Yeah, we increased the physical preparation because we put heat him. We put heat on him.
Are you planning on coming in lighter than you have in other fights?
So it's the same weight, but I'm leaner. The body compositions change.
Very nice. The win streak, impressive. But do you feel like you need to get a finish here? Is that important, or is a decision still a good thing for you?
I don't care at all about to make a knockout. No, I don't. Eu não gosto de me colocar nessa pressão.
Pressure?
Yeah, I don't like to push this pressure to myself. In the correct time, the knockout will come.
The English is getting better. Are you practicing?
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice. Last one for me. 4 wins in a row. You know, you said you're going step by step. Have you already picked out what the next step is?
Yeah, always. Ivanov. Ivanov, I will come for you, baby.
Already got me calling out.
Boi,
E aí, Diegão?
tudo bom?
Beleza?
Vamos lá. Boi, você pediu, né, desafiou o Arlovski antes mesmo da sua última luta, ali na semana, e conseguiu. Isso significa que você está com uma moral a mais na organização?
Eu acho que sim, né? Eu acho que mostra que eu estou tendo um pouquinho de voz dentro da organização, mostra que eu estou sendo percebido, né? Que é o mais importante. E espero continuar aí, né? Acho que depois dessa vitória, eu sinto que que muita gente ainda não me vê assim como um cara que veio para ficar, mas eu acredito que depois dessa vitória todo mundo vai me olhar com outros olhos.
Qual a estratégia, qual o segredo aí no treinamento e o gameplay mesmo para bater um cara tão experiente como o Arlovski, ex-campeão?
Não tem segredo, é só murro na cabeça. Não, sem resenha. O segredo, a gente estudou muito ele, sabe todas as estratégias dele, sabe o que ele faz quando está sendo pressionado. Então, a gente tem essa característica, né, de sempre estudar bem, de secar bem o jogo dos nossos adversários, e a gente já sabe o que ele pode oferecer e sabe o que ele não vai oferecer. Então, a gente já está com a chave aí para a vitória.
Ele é um adversário que sabe cadenciar muito o ritmo da luta, né? Ele, que por anos o pessoal falava que ele tinha um queixo fraco e tal, hoje ele cadencia melhor e encaixa o jogo dele muito mais dos seus adversários. Você tem isso em mente? Qual você consegue dar algum detalhe de como evitar que ele cadencie, como ele dite o ritmo da luta?
Com certeza ele fica nesse joguinho de otário, né? Eu bato, você bate, eu bato, corro um pouquinho e tal, mas só que comigo ele não vai achar isso. Ele pode ter achado com os outros, mas comigo ele vai tomar pressão do início ao fim.
Show. Você desafiou o Arlovski, já tem algum nome em mente para desafiar após essa luta?
Tenho sim, tenho o Ivanov. Eu acho que é uma luta que faz sentido e que até que os fãs também ganhariam, né? Já que vai ser trocação do início ao fim também. Ele é um cara trocador, apesar de ser um wrestler, né? Ele tem mostrado que gosta de trocar, então acho que todo mundo tem a ganhar com essa luta aí.
Show. Essa tatuagem, você pode falar um pouquinho de inspiração, como foi? E pretende fazer mais no rosto?
Não teve uma história assim. Todo mundo fala que tatuagem tem que ter significado, né? Mas aqui foi porque eu postei uma foto com efeito de Instagram de tatuagem, que aí a cara estava cheia de tatuagem, aí um amigo meu respondeu, que é tatuador. Eu topei. Agora, assim, o significado é brawler, né? Muita gente encara só como brigador, mas não só dentro do cage. Eu parto de um pressuposto maior, brigador na vida, entendeu? Que briga contra dificuldades, contra os problemas. Então, engloba mais isso aí, não é só essa parte rasa de brigador no octógono.
Show de bola. Para finalizar, então, se você puder mandar aquele recado tradicional para os fãs da G-Fight que vão ver esse vídeo no Brasil. O que eles podem esperar do Carlos Boi neste sábado e para a temporada 2022?
Fala, galera da G-Fight. Esse sábado de 16, hein? Confira aí. Mais uma guerra. Vai ser murro na cabeça o tempo todo.
Carlos, I didn't know there was a tattoo that you had there. I thought you had like a little bruising right there. So can you say the significance of the tattoo?
Yeah, I will try speaking English, okay? The tattoo means brawler, yeah? But not only in the fighting sense, in the life sense. Brawler against difficulties, against... you know, you understand? Yeah.
When did you get that?
When? 2 weeks after my last one. Yeah. Yeah, and when I decided to put this tattoo, I just post a photo with the fact of many tattoos in the face. So a friend that a tattoo artist calling to tattoo my face. I say, yeah. Thank you, guys. Valeu, Diegão.
Valeu, doutor Paulo.
Go slowly. All right, no problem. Good. All right, we just want to ask about the preparation. You've had to reschedule this fight, a couple of times. So how difficult has it been to prepare for this fight?
Ele está perguntando como foi sua preparação para sua luta e quão difícil foi essa preparação.
Na verdade, foi muito divertido fazer essa preparação. Eu não achei nada difícil assim. Quando me ofereceu a Manon, eu ainda não sabia o estilo dela e eu procurei saber. Eu fiquei muito empolgada para fazer essa luta. Eu estou realmente bem feliz. Não foi num camp difícil, não. Foi muito pelo contrário. Foi um camp muito divertido. Eu me diverti muito nesse camp.
To tell you the truth, it is a camp very funny to do. I didn't know about Manon, and after that, I know about her. And my camp, out the camp with my team was so funny to do, and I'm really prepared.
Nice. Was there any disappointment that you didn't get to fight at T-Mobile Arena and instead it'll be here at the Apex?
Ele está perguntando se você ficou chateado que não foi no T-Mobile.
Eu acho que era um grande palco, um grande show, né? Onde a campeã da minha categoria estava lutando. Eu queria muito, muito de verdade ter conseguido lutar lá, mas eu confio muito nos planos de Deus para a minha vida. Se não foi naquele dia, é porque é para ser no sábado e a gente vai estar pronto para dar um grande show. Claro que eu queria ter lutado lá, mas eu estou pronta para um grande show no sábado.
I would like to fight there because it was a big show that night, but I believe in God in my life, and I know that He do the best for me, and I'm prepared to do this show right now.
Nice. So what did you do for the 3 weeks that this fight got scheduled? Did you stay in Las Vegas the whole time, or what did you do during this time?
O que você fez nessas 3 semanas? Se você ficou em Las Vegas todo o tempo?
Sim, fiquei. Foi uma loucura que, na verdade, eu queria voltar para o Brasil porque eu não tinha a minha head coach tinha que ir embora porque o visto dela ia vencer e o meu também. Só que se eu fosse embora, eu não tinha como voltar porque eu não tinha tempo hábil para tirar o visto. Então foi uma loucura aqui, mas graças a Deus deu tudo certo. A gente está feliz, está preparado e é isso que importa.
Yes, it was so crazy to be here 3 weeks, but me and my head coach have a problem with our visa, so we need to stay here to solve this, and it was very good to be here these 3 weeks.
Nice. Did you change anything in terms of strategy or how you want to fight during this time? Like, is it going to be a different fight now than it would have been 3 weeks ago?
Ele perguntou se você mudou alguma coisa na sua estratégia de luta de agora em relação a 3 semanas atrás, quando você chegou.
Nada. A gente mantém a mesma estratégia. Minha estratégia é ser agressiva, buscar a luta todo o tempo, e é isso que a gente vai fazer lá no sábado. Se a gente tivesse mais um mês ou nem mais um dia, é a mesma estratégia, é ser agressiva e dar um grande show para todos vocês lá.
No, it is the same strategy that it to be hard and very, very aggressive since 3 weeks ago or now is the same strategy to do.
Nice. Manon has a lot of hype around her. People look at her as a prospect. Do you think that she's deserving of that respect, or do you think people are giving her this too quickly?
Eu acredito que sim. Na verdade, ela tem feito o trabalho dela, assim. Ela tem feito bem o trabalho dela, ela está sendo paga para lutar e ela vai lá e termina a luta dela da melhor maneira possível. Então, eu admiro muito a Manon, porque a gente que luta sabe como é difícil subir lá e conseguir knockouts, e ela tem feito isso com excelência. Então, eu acho que ela tem, sim, todo o direito de estar com esse hype, e eu quero mais ainda essa luta exatamente por isso, porque ela é uma pessoa que está com esse hype aí, e eu acredito que eu sou superior a ela, então eu estou gostando disso.
Yes, I believe that she's a very good fighter, and she deserves this hype. And she deserves this hype. And I believe that we are a fighter, and we are here to do our best. And she's doing her best all the time.
Nice. Last thing for me, it looks like it'll be an exciting fight. Last week, women took home all the bonuses, so Do you think this could be a performance of the night type bonus for you or a fight of the night type bonus for you?
Ele está perguntando se você entendeu? Então, tá.
Mesmo. Eu costumo falar que eu saio da minha casa para fazer a luta da noite. Eu não saio da minha casa para... Existe 4 bônus e eu tenho que ficar entre um deles. Ou tem que ser performance ou tem que ser a luta da noite. Eu não admito que eu não fique entre os destaques da noite. Então, eu acho que o que vier é bem-vindo, mas com certeza no final meu braço vai ser levantado.
I usually just say that I come here to do the best of my life and the best night of my fight, and I always intend to have one bonus at the night. I don't know why, how of them, but I'm get out of my house to be my best.
It's very easy in this deal.
Because he's speaking slowly. I asked him.
Chitara, tudo bom? Queria te perguntar como foi lidar com o peso, com essa mudança em cima da hora, né? Porque aí se o peso chega a subir, tem que descer, chegou a fazer... Porque quando a luta caiu, estava durante o corte de peso, né? Como foi esse processo?
O peso eu tenho que confessar que é uma dificuldade muito grande. Acho que a maioria dos lutadores tem, né? E eu tenho um problema de fazer sauna. Eu não consigo fazer muita sauna. Não consigo tirar muito peso na sauna. Eu tiro muito pouco. E aí o peso foi uma dificuldade, assim, mas a gente está superando isso e com certeza na sexta-feira a gente vai estar no peso, na hora certa, tudo combinado assim como eu combinei, a gente vai cumprir.
Maravilha. Você mencionou que o seu viso e o viso da Fabiana, né? Imagino. E como foi? O UFC te ajudou a renovar? Você ficou aqui, eles fizeram o processo? Como foi? Você foi para Los Angeles fazer?
Cara, não parece besteira, clichêzão, mas essa empresa é muito foda. Eles resolveram tudo, eu não tive problema com nada. Minha treinadora, a gente estava planejando ela ir para o México para voltar, para poder dar entrada de novo, mas eles resolveram tudo, a gente ficou bem. Foi uma loucura, assim, mas estresse mental, mas esses caras cuidaram de tudo, eles são fantásticos.
Maravilha. Eu vi nas redes sociais que você fez seu camp em Campinas, né, com a Fabiana. Você não fez o camp lá na Shootbox? Como é que você não vai mais fazer? Talvez você faça outros camps lá?
Na verdade, assim, eu saí da Shootbox, mas a Shootbox nunca vai sair de mim. Porque eu nasci lá, eu dei o meu primeiro soco lá. Tudo onde eu cheguei é graças à galera da Shootbox. Mas a gente estava dividido entre treinar na Fabi, que a gente já treina há 4 anos com ela, e treinar na Shootbox. E eu acabei tendo alguns problemas pessoais meu e eu quis ficar mais próximo da minha família e então ir para ficar em São Paulo longe da minha família não era uma opção para mim. Então a gente acabou voltando para o interior e para treinar com a Fabi, que a gente já treinava fazia tempo, a gente só decidiu entre ficar e ir, a gente decidiu ficar porque a gente já treinava com ela fazia bastante tempo.
Maravilha. Você assinou o contrato com o UFC em 2018 e no início teve uma certa dificuldade de conseguir ritmo de luta, lutas constantes. Agora você vai fazer a segunda nesse ano. Você mencionou, você sempre vem para dar show, isso é verdade, mas ao mesmo tempo muitas vezes você sai com uma lesão ou outra, sai um pouco machucada. O ritmo de luta, o quanto isso importa para o seu estilo ter um ritmo de luta e conseguir fazer mais lutas, e se isso é o planejamento para 2022?
É verdade, eu tenho lidado com as lesões assim há muitos anos. Eu costumo zoar com todo mundo que eu tenho 6 anos de carreira e eu tenho 5 cirurgias. Então eu tenho mais tempo de hospital do que de treino. Mas a gente está lidando com isso da melhor maneira possível. O meu estilo é muito agressivo, então a gente está trocando algumas coisas, algumas formas de treinar que na minha cabeça a gente tem que fazer sentido na minha cabeça primeiro para depois a gente colocar no treino. Mas eu gosto de lutar sim, eu gosto de ir para cima, eu gosto de treinar sim, eu gosto de treinar duro. E isso, às vezes, atrapalha um pouco. Mas a gente tá se acertando nisso e vai dar certo. O ritmo é muito importante. Eu não consegui ainda, na minha carreira, não foi só no UFC, na minha carreira eu ainda não consegui fazer mais do que 2 lutas no ano, uma no começo, uma no final. Mas eu acredito que eu vou vencer bem a Manon no final de semana e já quero lutar em dezembro para poder começar a ter um ritmo. Aí quando eu pegar esse ritmo, eu te falo para você como é que é, porque eu ainda não sei.
Para esse sábado, então, previsão, como vai ser a luta?
Bom, Manon disse que vai me nocautear no 2º round. Eu vou ter que falar para ela que ela vai cair no 2º round.
Maravilha. Finalizando, então, mandar aquele recado para os fãs do Brasil que vão ver esse vídeo na G-Fight.
Fala, galera do Brasil. Sabadão, dia 16, vai ter uma galera representando a nossa bandeira. E eu também vou estar representando essa nossa bandeira com todo o meu coração. Eu espero a torcida de vocês. Tem uma grande guerra, uma grande adversária pela frente. Mas eu prometo para vocês que eu vou dar o meu melhor e que eu vou sair de lá de alguma forma com esse braço levantado e levando essa vitória para o Brasil.
All right, Norma. I guess give us the feel right now. You know, big UFC main event. Does it feel different than a normal fight week? What's it like for you right now?
Fala pra gente como é que está se sentindo. Agora você é main event. Como é?
Bom, primeiramente, bom dia. Estou me sentindo muito bem, empolgada para essa luta, empolgada para esse main event. E eu espero fazer jus e agradar os fãs, fazendo uma super luta.
First of all, good morning.
Alex.
There's a mic right next. Oh. I don't like mics. First of all, good morning. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. It's really good, and I hope to justify my presence here.
Nice. I know you want to impress in a main event, so talk to me about this opponent switch. You know, it's an entirely different style. Was this difficult to accept? Was this something that you really had to debate whether you do it or not?
E me fala sobre essa troca de oponente. Você quer impressionar. Essa troca te ajuda nesse sentido?
Bom, eu acredito que sim, pelo estilo de jogo, né? Lógico que vencer a Holly me dá mais nome, uma ex-campeã. Porém, eu acho que a luta contra a Aspen vai ser uma luta mais aberta e isso me proporciona, talvez, uma luta mais animada em que os fãs vão gostar mais. Então, eu acredito que seja uma troca justa, vamos dizer assim.
I think it was a fair change. Of course, if I could come out with a win against Holly, was the next champion, it would have been very good for me. But I think that Aspen's going to be a more fun fight. She fights a little bit more open, and I think that everybody's going to appreciate that.
Was it difficult to adjust a game plan, or do you kind of come in with the same strategy against either opponent?
Foi difícil, você ajustou o jogo ou você vem com a mesma estratégia contra qualquer um dos dois?
Não a mesma estratégia. A luta contra a Holly seria uma luta um pouco mais devagar, talvez, porque por ela controlar mais a luta. Porém, a gente imaginava que Holly talvez iria tentar me segurar ou me derrubar, então a gente treinou muito wrestling, que é um excelente jogo para de defesa de wrestling, um excelente jogo contra a Aspen. Então, os pequenos ajustes foi só porque contra a Holly a gente talvez esperaria um pouco mais a luta. Contra a Aspen ela vem, então a luta provavelmente já começa a esquentar mais cedo.
No, they're different fighters. There were a few adjustments, but we expected Holly to come and wrestle me, and I think that works really good for Aspen. Maybe Holly would have paced the fight a little bit more. I think that Aspen comes immediate to fight, and so we adjusted to that, but there weren't huge adjustments.
A lot of the talk from the fans has been about whether or not Aspen deserves to be in a main event after missing weight. What's your take on that? Was there any part of you that thought, hey, she doesn't deserve to be in this main event with me?
Muitas pessoas perguntam se a Aspen merece estar no main event depois de não bater peso. O que você acha disso?
Bom, eu não acho nada sobre isso. Eu acho que isso é uma questão da organização com o atleta. Eu não estou aqui para julgar a Aspen, não estou aqui para julgar o trabalho dela. Já estive na posição dela, eu sei que às vezes acontece. E é isso. Eu acho que é um problema dela com o UFC. Se o UFC acha que ela merece, eu agradeço porque salvou a minha luta e eu precisava lutar. Então, realmente, eu não tenho nada a falar sobre isso. Não é um problema meu.
I don't think that's something that's between her and the event. I don't want to judge. I've been there before. I'm happy. I'm very grateful that she is going to be able to fight me because I needed to fight. But that's something between the UFC and her.
Yeah, not to bring up bad things, but I was going to ask. I mean, do you maybe have compassion for her because you have been in a similar situation? Like maybe you understand more.
Você tem compaixão por ela, por você ter estado na mesma situação e entender?
Compaixão, eu não sei não. Isso aí para mim não tem nada a ver. Mas eu entendo a situação dela, entendo que pode acontecer. E a única coisa que eu penso nisso tudo no momento, talvez, né, até de forma um pouco egoísta, é que, cara, que bom que aconteceu, porque eu não poderia ficar sem essa luta. Então é isso, tudo bem. Ela tá ali, vai lutar e para mim foi bom. É só isso que eu penso.
I wouldn't say compassion, but I do understand. But I'm thankful that I needed to fight, and I'm thankful that the fight's happening. So in that sense, I'm happy.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out more on Saturday, but do you think she is a legitimate featherweight contender? I mean, do you think this is the right division for her, or have you really scouted her much before now?
Acho que nós vamos descobrir no sábado, mas você acha que ela realmente é uma contender no peso pena, ou você acha que não?
Então, foram 3 falhas na balança, né? Então pode ser que sim. Eu já vi Aspen pessoalmente, achei talvez um pouco pequena para a divisão, mas acho que é porque talvez ela também estava próximo de tentar bater o peso de 135, pode ser isso. Não achei ela muito grande, mas eu acho que por questão de saúde, se está difícil atingir a divisão de baixo, sobe.
Those are 3 misses. Yeah, I've been near her. I think she's kind of small, but if she has difficulty making that 135, the best option is to go up.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, obviously this division is interesting because there's not a lot of fighters in it, right? So, I mean, if you win here, technically, I guess you're in the title discussion. So, like, are you ready to face Amanda Nunes, 9 fights into your career?
Interessante essa divisão, não tem muitos pretendentes. Então, a vitória te coloca logo como contender nessa divisão, né? O que você acha?
Bom, eu acho que a Felícia já tinha feito isso, né, na luta contra a Felícia, mas depois que casou a luta, eu senti talvez ainda uma desconfiança das pessoas, se eu já deveria estar lutando contra uma Holly ou contra uma Aspen. Mas tudo bem, eu estou aqui para mostrar meu trabalho, todo dia eu vou entrar lá dentro, vou apresentar uma Norma mais evoluída, com um nível técnico maior, e pelo que eu já vi das outras meninas das divisões, né, principalmente das 135, eu estou no nível acima. Então, tudo bem, a gente vai chegar lá e vai fazer o trabalho. Se o UFC achar que é a hora, eles vão me chamar e eu vou estar pronta.
I thought I'd already accomplished that in the fight against Felicia, but maybe I still have to prove more. I think that I'm better than most of the fighters in the 135 division too. So, I'm continuing to evolve. I'll show the best of me, and the rest will happen the way it happens.
Oi, Norma, tudo bom? Para finalizar esse assunto da questão da balança, você acha que... Você já passou por isso, né? Olhando, analisando a situação, você acha que você consegue tirar alguma vantagem sabendo pelo que ela está passando agora?
Bom, acho que se eu falasse que não era mentira, né? Quando eu tive a dificuldade, eu não consegui bater o peso. 3 semanas depois, eu lutei contra a Felícia. Eu tive um desgaste físico grande e eu sentia dores, né? No dia da luta, eu senti muita dor nos órgãos. Durante a luta, no final do 3º round, eu voltei a sentir as dores de novo. Então, é inegável que possivelmente a Aspen não está, né, não estará na sua melhor forma, pode, né, pelo desgaste de 2 cortes de peso seguidos, ela pode realmente trazer ali alguns problemas que, obviamente, eu vou tentar explorar, é o jogo, faz parte, mas sempre lembrando que eu estava assim e eu venci. Então, eu nunca posso duvidar da capacidade da Aspen de superar isso assim como eu superei também.
Perfeito. Você ainda tem planos para voltar para 61? Ou é algo que você, pelo menos a médio prazo, deixou para trás?
Cara, não quero. E a gente fica sempre naquela luta para que a divisão de 145 de fato engrene. Porque se a divisão engrenar e a gente conseguir fazer boas lutas e trazer atletas e divulgar, não tem por que eu descer de peso. Eu consigo ficar bem nessa divisão. O PI me deixou na melhor forma física para essa divisão também. Mas se por acaso o UFC pedir, igual foi pedido da última vez, e depois, né, eles falaram, não, vamos fazer uma luta aqui na 145. Mas se eles pedirem, eu vou ter que tentar me encaixar de novo na divisão de baixo. Sei que é possível, mas eu também já tenho a resposta de que vai ser bem difícil e a gente não sabe como vai fazer. Mas, se for pedido, o trabalho tem que ser feito.
Perfeito. Para essa luta desse sábado, você consegue analisar tecnicamente algum detalhe de por que você é a favorita e, de repente, dar algum palpite de como vai acabar a luta?
Acho que a trocação. A Aspen vem muito aberta, eu sou contra-golpeadora, eu acredito que posso acertar bons golpes ali no jogo dela. Tem boas defesas de queda também, então eu acredito que eu possa levar essa vantagem na trocação e, quem sabe, conseguir o meu primeiro nocaute ou até mesmo uma vitória por pontos, mas com uma larga vantagem.
Show de bola. Se puder, então, olhar para essa câmera e mandar aquele recado tradicional, o que os fãs podem esperar da Norma neste sábado e para a temporada 2022?
Bom, o que vocês podem esperar é uma atleta muito bem treinada, com um jogo talvez um pouco mais agressivo, um pouco mais divertido para o público que quer assistir, e 2022 mais evoluída ainda, porque eu pretendo, de fato, ser a dona da divisão. Então, para isso, eu preciso evoluir e eu estou buscando isso a cada dia aqui em Las Vegas.
Jordan, obviously an impressive performance last time out. I mean, how important was that for you to kind of bounce back from the first loss and do it in spectacular fashion?
It was awesome. It was incredibly important. I feel like it was, I don't know, like I feel like even just this whole process of since before getting signed to the UFC, fighting again for the LFA, it's just been a non-stop process. I never leave the gym. I never stop training. Even when I have injuries, I'm still figuring something else to do. And so it was kind of a good thing after the Buckley loss to show that even something like that, like I was back in the gym very shortly after that, still working on new things. And it was just like, you look at all these old K1 fighters who will fight 20 times a year, who have hundreds of fights. It's just like, it's just the lifestyle. You lose, you win, you go back into the gym. You want to do your best, you want to get the win, but sometimes it doesn't go your way. So you just keep training and you don't stop.
So obviously the old saying is that you learn more from your losses than your wins. I mean, did you find that to be true, or are you like, I don't need those lessons?
I wouldn't say more or less. I think it just depends on the situation. Like if a loss truly, like a win can expose you as well. But I feel like if you truly get exposed in a certain aspect, or there's a part of your preparation that wasn't perfect, or the weight cut or whatever, it's just another process to learn. I was thinking about that even earlier today when doing a lot of the media stuff. I'm like, this isn't a drag. Like, it was never really a drag, but it's still just more you have to do. But I'm like, no, this is fine. Like, I'm in the moment. This is cool. Like, there are people working their asses off, and having other types of jobs that, wish they could do something like this. So I'm just incredibly fortunate and thankful that I'm able to live the life that I live.
Yeah, great way to look at it. You get the matchup with Julian. Was that an exciting one for you? On paper, it looks like it could be a pretty good fight.
Yeah, absolutely. He's an incredibly tough opponent. He's definitely a big test for me, and I embrace it with open arms. I feel like, it's just a great test and a great way for me to show my skills to the world.
Anything you do unique or different this time around in preparation for this one?
Yeah, we've done a lot of new stuff, a lot of new cool secret stuff that you guys will be able to see on Fight Night.
Ninja stuff, right?
Ninja stuff, always. It's always a secret.
And I guess, you're starting to get a lot of hype around you. Like, I'm starting to see a lot of people really say, man, this guy, even though you just had the loss, a lot of people say, this guy's the future. I mean, do you embrace that? Is that a little bit like, hold on, let me kind of still keep developing in here a little bit? Or do you like the fact that you're getting that attention?
I've said this analogy before, but like I really live, it's an old analogy called the analogy of the songbird. And the songbird, one day is just singing a song and a guy comes up to him and says, Songbird, I hate your song. It keeps me up and it's not even that good. The songbird says, I don't really care about you. I'm just the songbird. I'm singing my song. 5 minutes later, another guy comes by. Songbird, I love your song. It's beautiful. It's awesome. It gives me hope and inspiration. Songbird goes, I don't really care. I'm just the songbird. I'm going to sing my song, and that's what I do. Whether it's hype or negativity, at the end of the day, I kind of live in my own I face my own direction. The praise or the negativity, anything, I just kind of ignore it and listen to my coaches, and I have a close inner circle, and not much gets in between that.
I like that. Look at you dropping wisdom here. You got ninja stuff. You got wise fables to drop to us. I mean, it's great. Let me talk about the goal here, because like I said, on paper, it looks like it could be a pretty explosive fight, and obviously you've shown the ability to do that. So do you go in there saying, I want to do something spectacular in this fight, or is that not the way you walk in there?
No, not really. I just kind of go in and I feel in the moment what gets presented to me and the things that I can establish myself. Even in the last one with Pickett, I was just like, I remember being in there, being like, this is fine. Like, I could go to decision. It doesn't matter. And then he opened up on me, and I was like, all right, well, thank you. I'm gonna take what you're given, and that's what I've been doing my whole career. But I just kind of go in there with an open mind and ready to perform.
That's awesome. Last thing for me. Where do you see yourself going from here, man? A win over here, it's kind of a recognizable name. It looks like it'll be an exciting fight one way or the other. So, I mean, are you looking at rankings, opponents, and things like that, or do you worry about that?
There are opponents that I look at, but at the end of the day, I just kind of focus on the now. I try not to get too lost in what could potentially be, or what might this be, or what might that be. I'm just kind of doing my thing. The title is what I want, and I'll do whatever I have to get it. That's it? That's it. Thank you.
Andrei, it's third fight of the year for you. Not bad for an old guy, right? Staying busy.
I'm not that old, and I'm planning to fight by end of the year one more time, so we'll see.
Very nice. You had to take some time off for surgery, right? Was that something that you had been dealing with for a long time, or was it an injury from the fight?
Definitely it was injury after my fight. First time I broke my hand when I fought Ian Freeman back in, what UFC, 30-something. And lately, after actually last two fights, like if I punch hard my opponent, I had a problem like swollen and some like soreness in my right hand. And I did a surgery. Great doctor. I asked her, can I be awake? I want to see what you're going to do. She said, yeah, no problem. Surgery was 10 minutes. 15 minutes later, I woke up in the recovery room.
So what is it? Do you think this is something that's going to have positive impact for the remainder of your career? Like now it won't break anymore?
Hope so. We'll see. It depends how hard I'm going to punch someone.
Nice. Well, listen, obviously you talk about how long you've been in the UFC. You mean setting records, and but you're on a card with Jim Miller, who's setting records too. So do you have any relationship with him? Talk to him, tell him to slow down, keep fighting, so you can be the all-time leader?
No, actually, I just found out that I believe I'm third person who has the most fights in the UFC history. First one, Cowboy Cerrone. So, listen, I'm still young. I have a lot of years to go.
Do you want that record? Would it mean something to you to be like the
Absolutely
number
not.
one?
The most person in my team who's crazy about records is Paulina Hernandez. He likes all this like chaos victories. He likes read statistic about how many punches I throw per minute, per round, whatever. He's all about records, not me.
You don't care.
Not really.
Well, listen, not caring about records, but performances, I'm sure matter. 3-1 in the last 4. I mean, how do you feel you're at this stage in your career? Still picking up big victories.
Not bad, and I'm fighting a guy who called me out, Carlos Felipe. Actually, at that time I called out Volkov, but he didn't respond. UFC didn't respond, so they gave me a young, dangerous opponent, Carlos Felipe, and one step at a time.
What does that make you feel when somebody's called? Because he was very aggressive in calling you out. Most people treat you with respect because you've been around. He was not so respectful.
You're absolutely right. Every other day, some like messages, hey, come on, Arlovski, blah, 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 plus all his band face and Portuguese, like Brazilians, like, oh, I said, okay. If it's Carlos Felipe, it doesn't matter, Carlos Felipe. The longest I'm fighting, the longest I'm going to fight. Third time on October 16th, I'm going to fight one more time by end of the year. I'm okay.
Do you take it personal at all when somebody's being aggressive to you like that?
You said I'm veteran, right? I don't care anymore. I'm not 25, unfortunately, and I don't care who's called me out and what language, how professional or not. Just I know I did great camp. I had a great camp. My coaches did their homework, and I'm ready for the fight. I'm gonna give him a lesson inside the octagon. That's it. Or I might lose the fight. It's heavyweight division, and everybody says you can win a whole fight, but one punch can decide everything. So if I'm gonna stick with my game plan, keep my hands up, everything's gonna be okay.
Is there anything, I know you trust your coaches, but have they told you or have you seen anything special that impresses you? You've seen everything at this point, but does he do anything where you're like, we got to be really careful about that?
Of course, we have some. I have some notes. What's good, what's bad, what's dangerous, and like I said, when I'm stick with my game plan, I'm okay. And if I'm gonna stick with two simple fundamentals, keep my hands up and move around, I'm gonna be okay.
I know you want to fight again for the end of the year. Do you want to have a professional wrestling match before the end of the year? You're hanging around with AEW, right?
No. Listen, that's everything fun, everything good for experience, to learn something, to find out something about yourself, to meet new people. But like I said, I'm focused on my MMA career. UFC is #1 priority right now in the professional business in my life, and I'm focused on UFC, on my MMA career. I need to rebuild my career. Remember, all my last 4 opponents, they're newcomers. I want to fight someone top 10, top 5.
Nice. So I do want to ask about Junior Dos Santos, though. Are you excited to watch him wrestle? I know it's not your thing, but are you excited to see how he does, and how do you think he's going to do?
I'm okay with Junior. Like he's like funny guy. I like him, and yeah, definitely if he's gonna do something professionally in AEW, that's fun. Definitely, I'm gonna support him.
Nice. So you'd like to fight for the end of the year. I guess last thing for me, I mean, you're saying top 10. Do you think a win here is enough to get one of those top 10 guys?
I don't know, just like my thoughts. I share my thoughts. Like I said, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm gonna be busy, I'm gonna be fighting. I'm okay.
Have you put an end date on it? Have you put a date and say, I can't fight past 45, I can't pass 47, 50, whatever it may be?
No, definitely not 50. I mean, I'm not that stupid, you know, but at least till age 45, I think I'm going to be okay. 45, maybe and a half. We'll see. Maybe 46.
Check it out, check. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? All 25 of you guys out there just ready to interview me with all these amazing game show questions. I'm ready to go. How about you?
We're ready. We're ready. Hey, it's been a pretty amazing year for you in the cage so far. I mean, what's the feel like right now? Is things, couple of wins, couple bonuses?
Man, I'm golden, dude. I'm on top of the world, feeling great, happy, satisfied. I mean, my life has changed. 31 months, you guys didn't hear nothing from me. There was nothing happened. I suffered that severe injury. It took a long time to get back, and it was a very struggling, unsatisfying process, very painful, but it's all changing, and it's because of the team around me, it's because of my family around me, and it's because of my will to want to succeed.
So at this point, when you get to a fight week and you're trying to figure out your financial budgeting and all that, do you just count the bonus as like, that's definitely coming home with me this weekend?
No, I don't ever count the bonuses. What I do is just count for the win. And that's the thing is I'm here not to get a bonus. I don't care. It's fun. That's awesome. It's amazing. But I'm here to get the victory. I didn't even know, I kid you not, I didn't even know how much I was getting for this fight. I wasn't looking at the numbers because it's not about the number to me. It's about the actual fight itself. I love this. This is passionable to me. The money is just extra. It's just satisfying to get the victory and get that payment, but to exchange an X amount of dollars for the chance of winning it doesn't relate.
Nice. What do you think about your last two performances? I mean, obviously impressive wins, but I'm sure you'd like to dominate more, not be tested, maybe not be quite as exciting or whatever. So how do you personally feel about the last two fights?
Man, you know what? You saw a lot from me. You saw the skill set, you saw the heart, you saw the durability, you saw the will, you saw the want. I mean, they're the best fights you can watch. Those are the best fights you can learn from. And you can see me growing inside the octagon in just a short period of time.
So do you want to be known as a guy that can be this warrior that can be tested and battle through it, or do you want to be known as a guy that goes in there and throws one punch and knocks people out?
Man, I want to be known as Julian Marquez, the guy that you want to get in front of the TV to watch, to know that you don't know what you're going to get. You're going to get this spectacular, just crazy high-level performance, or this just crazy knockout, or this just amazing competitive fight. It's me. You're going to, no matter what, I don't expect anything. I don't want to be known for anything. Just know that guy's not going to give up.
That's awesome. And is being known as that fighter the most important thing? Because I know you got a lot of interests outside of the cage too that are flourishing as well. So, but is that part the part that's most important right now, or is it the whole package?
Man, I mean, what you see is what you get. I'm not focusing on building anything like a name for myself in the sense of being that fighter. I'm more so of just looking to get wins, looking to have fun, and looking to enjoy my time, because I've seen it get taken away from me, and it was unenjoyable. And right now, like I said, I love this. This is fun to me. This is exciting to me. This is something that I don't care what people think of me. I don't care what people say about me. I don't care how people judge me. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about going in there, getting a win, having fun on the mic, having fun in these interviews, and just producing just amazing content.
All right, talk about Jordan Wright, man. I mean, this guy has had some exciting results so far in his UFC career thus far. What did you think when this was the matchup?
So I think it's amazing. I think it's a great stylistic matchup for me. Benefits me in the best sides just because, I'm just a different style of fighter than Jordan has seen before. He's a very respected, martial artist, and he comes from a great lineage. But the difference between him and I is that I have a coach on my side that is forever evolving with the game and is still a part of the game and is studying the game in and out. He's battle tested, and he tested all the techniques and all the process that we're doing in the game, as we speak. I mean, let's talk about last week, almost another 24-hour fight notice or short notice fight, and he's about to take it. That's an actual leader that's going out there and showing you this is how we're going to do it. So having that on my side, having that and knowing who I am, it's a perfect matchup for me.
Nice. Was there anything, see Jordan's got a unique style. Was there anything that you had to do differently or approach differently, or is it, kind of just approach the same as you would anybody else?
Man, I approach every fight the same way, as to evolve myself in one form or another. And I'm not sitting there looking at it like, oh man, this guy has this or this guy does that. Because the thing is, if I worry about him, I'm going to forget about me. But I worry so much about me and build me and help myself grow to the point where he's thinking that, oh, I'm going to get him with this one move, where I'm thinking I have all these different moves that I can get him with. And as you see in my other fights, you know, everyone's like, oh, he's going to knock him out. Your boy hit an anaconda choke that was sick as hell. Your boy hit a modified rear naked choke that you guys haven't seen. You know, and it's just because I'm able to go every location, everywhere in the fight, I can make it happen anywhere. That's because we're growing me as a fighter.
Awesome. Last thing for me, I mean, the goal here is the win. Like you said, that's the primary focus. Do you think about where it propels you to? I mean, like what you deserve, so to speak, next, or what makes sense for you next?
No, not at all. I don't look past them. You know, right now I have this day in front of me and this person in front of me, and that's all I care about. Like, obviously we have long goals, but for me to sit there and be like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want this, that's called greed, man. Pigs get slaughtered, hogs get fed, and right now I'm just being a hog for this one person.
What's up, man? I know you just said you don't like to think ahead, but since you've come back from your injury, I feel like you've become a lovable guy. People are starting to see you more and more, but yet we haven't seen you fight in front of fans since you've come back. We've only seen you in the Apex. Is that something you'd like for your next fight, to get out there in front of a roaring crowd?
Oh man, you put me out in front of a crowd, everybody would fill the seats, everybody would scream as loud as possible. I've controlled the crowds many of times, and if you could see one of my fights live, it would just be, it's weight in gold. So if they give me that, let's go. If not, you know, I've been fighting without a crowd for quite a while now, and I mean, I got my contract without a crowd, so it's not going to change. It doesn't matter if there's people there or if there's no people. The result's always going to be the same. I'm still going to show up. And to be honest, I don't really even hear the crowd until after I win. And then I'm like, oh shit, that's all.
Thank you.
Totally outside of fighting, because I always find humor in all the things that you say. What are you watching? I saw that you mentioned Squid Games. What else are you watching on Netflix or whatever? What's your jam when you're not fighting?
Man, I binge watched Squid Games when it came out, like right as like everyone started hopping aboard. My brother and James Krause both told me to watch this. Wild. I'm about to start Midnight Mass. I heard it's something close to like Blair Manor. Way better. I thought Blair Manor was terrible. And then it's not as scary, but intriguing, just like Haunting a Hill House, which I like those style of series. And I'm not a series guy. I always watch movies, things like that. So that's what I have right now. I'm also on Apple TV. I'm doing The Morning Show, which is just a newer style show. I'm going to start that. My uncle's telling me up and down, like, this is what you need to watch. Says it's great. So, man, I just start watching whatever people suggest, and if it's good, and I'll give you the first episode, and if the first episode isn't worth it to me, then I'm out.
Well, speaking of the Squid Games, you had asked Twitter, and I was interested in what sort of feedback you got. You asked what childhood era game would you know, that people thought that would make something interesting like the Squid Games. What were some of the fun answers that maybe you hadn't? Do you have a game that you think would make an interesting game?
We were sitting there and we were having a discussion, and there's some funny answers like Ring Around the Rosie. Like, how do you change that into like a survival game? Or like Red Rover, you know, like, or how shitty would it be you like die playing kick the can? You know, like come on. So we were sitting there just coming up with all these just random stuff, and people were saying games that I've never heard of, and I can't even come off the top of my head with what they were saying, but it was just, it's kind of funny because every era presented a different, you know, style of game. Sure. Or every, you know, country has its own game. So we were just, kind of was just a good like night little talk, couple hours of just bull crapping, and the internet got involved in. But like, think about it. Like, how would you make freeze tag like an actual like survivalist game? Like, are you gonna shoot them with like a freeze gun, or are you gonna throw them in like, oh, you got touched, and you're gonna throw you into ice pit? You know, like, it would be wild.
And then lastly, what are you jamming to on the iTunes or the iPod? What are you listening to music-wise these days?
Damn, dude, do we have iPods still, bro? Like, my boy got the Nano out. I see it. Okay. That's awesome. Man, again, I always listen to my girl Miley. I listen to her stuff. Dude, I've been listening to a lot of J. Cole recently, Taylor Swift as well. man, it's kind of just all over the place. There's a rapper on the up and up. His name's Big Walk Dog. Probably like an up and comer, another little Gucci Man style, and I just kind of like evolve with the music. Some days I like this, some days I like that, and I just enjoy it.
What do you listen to when you're working out? Do you go heavy or do you go lighthearted with the girls when you're trying to?
Oh, dude, I listen to like Tones and I, Dance Monkey. I listen to Miley Cyrus. I'll listen to Taylor Swift. Something that just keeps the beat going, and and sometimes I'll go like super hardcore. Like I'll go Turnstile, hardcore punk, Spine Crew. Weekend Nachos, just something just super grimy, heavy, but it all depends on how I want my heart rate to elevate and how hard I want to go at it.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
All right, ciao.
Well, obviously, welcome first. It's been kind of an interesting lead up to this fight, right? So how difficult has it been for you to kind of move your training 3 weeks forward?
En premier, bonjour et bienvenue. C'était un combat qui a été décalé de 3 semaines. Ça a été difficile pour toi de te réentraîner, de décaler ce combat de 3 semaines?
Bonjour. Oui, au début ça a été un peu compliqué parce que la semaine de quarantaine j'étais un peu fatiguée, c'était un peu compliqué. Mais après ça, on a fait venir une sparring du Canada, Corinne Laframboise, et du coup j'ai pu m'entraîner les 2 semaines d'après avec elle, faire des bons sparring et j'ai retrouvé la forme à 100%.
Yes, it's the first time it's arrived, and the first week it was very difficult because I don't have symptoms, but I'm feeling tired and it was difficult. But after the first week, my team asked for a sparring from Montreal, Corinne Laframboise, and I can finish my training camp, and now I can say I'm in good shape and I'm 100%.
What was the focus during the time? I mean, was it about resting? Was it about changing anything? I mean, what was the real focus during this time?
Dans ta préparation, sur quoi tu t'es concentré vraiment? Est-ce que cette fois-ci c'est plutôt de la lutte? Qu'est-ce que tu as mis en avant pendant cette préparation?
Non, comme d'habitude, j'ai tout travaillé, la lutte, le pied-point, le sol. Je peux tout faire dans ce combat, donc j'ai tout travaillé pareil.
No, really now I can say to everything I'm well-rounded fighter, and in my training camp I work everything, wrestling, striking and ground game. So no, I work for all the aspects of the fight.
I guess it's out of your control, but was it disappointing to not be able to fight at T-Mobile Arena and to have to fight here at the Apex instead without the big fans?
C'était quand même déstabilisant et décevant de ne pas faire partie de l'UFC 266 à la T-Mobile Arena avec les fans et tout ça?
Oui, bien sûr, j'étais vraiment déçu de ne pas combattre à la T-Mobile Arena. Mais après, là où je suis contente, c'est que du coup, là, je vais combattre sur une main card, donc c'est bien aussi.
Absolutely, it was so disappointed to leave the fight week like that and don't fight for the big show. But in fight, I'm focused on the good thing and I'm on the main card.
Nice. What do you think about Mayra as an opponent, and where does she stack up against the people that you've already faced?
Qu'est-ce que tu penses de ton adversaire, des combats qu'elle a déjà fait, de son style?
Je pense que c'est une bonne adversaire pour moi parce que justement, elle a plusieurs combats à l'UFC, donc ça va être un premier vrai test. J'aime bien son style puisqu'elle avance, elle est très agressive. Du coup, je pense que je peux finir le combat assez tôt si elle fait comme d'habitude, qu'elle est agressive. Mais ouais, je pense que je peux la mettre KO dans le premier ou deuxième round.
Yes, Mayra is a well-rounded fighter. I have 5 fights in the UFC. I like her style, and I really think if she does like usual and goes straight, I can finish the fight and put her knockout in the first or the second round.
Very nice. You've already generated a lot of interest, a lot of hype around you in your career. Do you welcome that right now, or does that seem to add like pressure to what you're doing?
Tu as beaucoup de victoires à ton actif, tu es sur une grosse série de victoires. Est-ce que ça te met la pression? Est-ce que ça change quelque chose par rapport à d'habitude? Est-ce que tu te sens un petit peu tendu?
Non, je suis comme d'habitude. Je suis là pour faire le travail et non, j'ai l'habitude.
No, like usual, I'm here for do the job, and it is what it is.
Last thing for me, I mean, you win here. How do you see your path moving forward? I mean, do you want a fast rise to the top? I see people already talking about you as a future title challenger. Do you want to rise fast, or do you still want a slow development process?
Comment tu vois la suite de ta carrière? Tu as envie d'accélérer un petit peu, de prendre vraiment un chemin court pour le titre, ou tu veux prendre ton temps?
Je pense que si ce combat se passe bien et que je mets le KO que je veux, je pense qu'après ce combat, je peux affronter une fille du top 10. Donc.
I take this step by step. The first step, I want to win this fight by knockout. It's very important for me. And if I do that, and when I do that, I want a top 10 fighter.
And again, I'll ask one more, because I think this should be a very exciting fight. So what would you prefer? You want a knockout, but do you want to go do it quickly and get a performance of the night bonus, or would you like a back-and-forth war, get tested a little bit, and maybe take a fight of the night bonus?
Si tu dois choisir, tu préfères faire le KO de la soirée rapidement ou faire le combat de la soirée en prenant ton temps et quitte à ce que le combat dure 2 ou 3 rounds?
Non, je préfère vite mettre le KO le plus rapidement possible pour pas avoir de blessure et pouvoir vite recombattre derrière.
If I have to choose, I take the first one knockout because no injury and I can do another fight very quickly.
question. I think at this point, I think we're all tired of talking about COVID that we've been dealing with the last year and a half. But obviously, it did take you out of a bout. I guess what was your experience like? Did you face any issues? Was it a challenge for you at all?
You know, it's. I mean, it sucks. Like that the first time that I've ever had to pull out of a fight. You know, it's because of COVID, and it wasn't even like I was getting tested because I felt like shit. You know, I was getting tested because I was getting ready to leave to come out here. You know, I literally felt like I had allergies the day that I was tested. You know, it was a little crummy for a couple days, but nothing too crazy. But yeah, I was able to, you know, I took about a week and a half, and then hopped right back in and you know, got back into the training camp.
Did it freak you out at all, considering like everything that you've gone through in your career with your health and that sort of thing? Did you think like, what is this going to do to me?
Well, it's. I mean, there's so much shit out there, right? Like that you don't know. You don't know what it's going to be like, and you know, I like. You're concerned for. I was concerned for my wife. I was concerned for my kids, and you know, unfortunately, everybody, you know, dealt with it pretty easily, and yeah, we beat its ass.
Nice. Like you said, first time. That's incredible when you think about how long your career is, right? I mean, was it? I mean, I guess you didn't really have a choice in this one, right? You're just not allowed to fight. So is that it took it out of your hands? When you think about, are there other fights in your career where like they're probably ones I probably shouldn't have competed in before?
There's there's one or two that like I'm like, you know, the closest I've ever been to pulling out was when I fought Kamal Shalarus. I was banged up for a solid like 6 weeks leading up to that fight. My knee was the size of a grapefruit. I pulled my psoas muscle. I had my coach Martin Rooney doing like ART on it, which if anyone that's ever had like work done on their psoas, it's torture. It was a tough one. And then of course the fight right after that, I wish I had known that I had mono. And then I probably wouldn't have got the kidney infection, and that sucked. But yeah, there's a few that, you know, you roll the dice, right? Like I always tell the younger guys that I train with, and like as soon as you feel like there's that little bit of a chink in the armor, as soon as you feel the doubt, then like don't, you know, that's when we don't do it. Like a fight on short notice or something like that. Like tell them if you're asking me if you want to fight, then don't do it. Like, if you really want to do it, you won't even be asking me. Like, so, you know, I was telling the commentating crew and Bisping that it's like, I'm my own, like, worst enemy. I'm my own, you know, I'm harder on myself than anybody else is, but there's also that you know, that supreme confidence that you have to have as a fighter. You have to be confident in yourself. You have to be confident that you'll be able to, you know, pull through anything that happens on fight night or in the lead up. So, you know, I bounce between those things of like being super hard on myself and then being like, hey, you know, if I fight my fight, I'll beat anybody in the world. You know, I wrap my arms around anybody's neck, I'm going to choke them out. So, you know, but then also you know, like, you should have done this, you stupid ass, you know, like you would have won that fight. So, yeah, it's, you just, sometimes, yeah, I rolled the dice and I lost, but. You know.
Well, you're back now.
Yeah.
Changing matchup, like you just said. I mean, you believe you can compete with anybody. So did it matter a different kind of opponent? I mean, do you think, oh, that was a much better stylistic one for me, or anything like that cross your mind?
No. You know, I know that Sean has to ask me, you know, like opponent change and stuff like that. But it's kind of the point where he doesn't. You know, it's like. Oh, you're fighting this guy on that day. Okay. You know, like, I see the email or I see the text and we're good to go, or I get the phone call, whatever it may be, you know, and that's how, you know, Joe Silva called me Jim fucking Miller, you know, because it was a midnight and I get an email and, you know, minutes later I'm getting back to him because there's, you know, with enough time, I'm going to be prepared for anybody. So.
Yeah. Obviously, at the end of the day, a fight's a fight, right? Anything can happen, but it does seem bizarre, right? Like you're the 38 trips and his first.
Yeah.
I mean, does that put him at like some severe disadvantage that even he doesn't realize? Like when you think about the experience that you've gained in all this time and just the comfort level and all that stuff, I mean, is he in a bad position that he doesn't even realize that he's in?
It all depends on the individual, honestly. I think the one benefit for him is that it's an Apex fight and it's not like a pay-per-view, a numbered event where you're going to have, a couple thousand people, tens of thousands of people, which is a different environment altogether. But, I envision myself in his situation. It's like, man, there's nothing to lose. So, that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a guy to come out and have nothing to lose, and that's dangerous. So, how he chooses to deal with it is up to him, and like hopefully he feels the pressure. Some people do, some people don't. Experience is a weapon. It's a tool. I've seen a vast majority of the things that can happen inside the octagon. It'd be, tough for him to throw something at me that I haven't seen before. So, and that's a benefit to me. So, I'm not concerned with how he's gonna deal with it. I got to show up on Saturday and fight my best, and I know if I do that, I'm gonna get the W.
Knowing that experience level you have and that you have seen everything, do you take the time to go seek out tape on the guy, or do you worry about that at all at this point?
Most of the time I just let my coaches, especially somebody that I've seen fight, I just need to see a little bit. I let my coaches deal with it, let them work up a game plan and guide me to that, because I'm a firm believer that I should be preparing to fight to my strengths. And I've seen some other fighters in the past, and I've done it myself, either preparing for something, that doesn't occur, or preparing to enter into, your opponent's strengths and then kind of allowing the positions to happen. So when I'm preparing, I'm trying to be the best that I can be. And like, if they can throw me some nuggets here and there, oh, this is going to work, this pass, this takedown, this combination, then great, or hey, we need to worry about guillotine chokes, or we need to worry about Darce chokes, or something like that. They can guide me that way. But like, I don't want to be preparing for the guy he was 6 months ago, because man, we're professional athletes, so 6 months is a long time to make changes and to change things up and stylistically to tighten boxing up. I just worry about getting myself into shape and being sharp, and we work on those little tweaks. But I have seen some of his videos.
He said when they approached him about this matchup, they told him it was the veteran who might retire after this fight. Does he have some intel that we don't?
Bad intel. Eventually, yeah. I mean, eventually I'll retire. It's I feel like it's the mature thing to do and the responsible thing to do is to be comfortable with the idea because I am 38 years old. As a lightweight, that makes me pretty old for the division. And like I said, I feel like it's the responsible thing to do is to approach it, and not just be like, oh shit, I'm not fighting anymore. Now what? But I mean, it does kind of feel like it's been a few years where it keeps getting brought up, retirement. But listen, I'm okay talking about it. I was super close in 2016 when I was sick with Lyme disease and didn't know about it. So I made concessions with it back then. Like, all right, like we could stop this at any time. So now it's really kind of easy. Like I'm already over it. I already did the hard part where I was like planning on retiring at UFC 200, and then it was like, hey, take some doxycycline twice a day, and then I went from feeling like an 80-year-old man to, a 35-year-old again. So like, it's not happening after Saturday night. I guarantee you that.
Fair enough. Well, we know we got that UFC 300 goal still off in the future, so we got to wait to get there. But I guess last thing for me, obviously your place in the history of the sport is secure. Your accomplishments are there. So I mean, how important is a win to you here? I mean, I know you've had a couple setbacks. So, I mean, when entering this fight, like, do you feel it's like, I got to get a win tonight, this is important, or is it more just, at this point, how I perform and how I feel, and did I live up to my own expectations and that sort of thing?
It's those two things are kind of the same. My expectations are to win, and that is my goal. So there is pressure. I don't focus on the past. I don't focus on the things that I could have done in previous fights. I want to win, and I'm going to do everything in my power in the rule set to win. That's that is me performing at my best. So they kind of go hand in hand.
Only one question for me.
Sure.
With your experience and all these fights that you've had and the way that the world is starting to open back up, what is the main thing that you miss about fight weeks that used to maybe bring joy and that you're hoping to get back to before you reach the end of the career?
Fighting in front of the fans. I know that the UFC's, they've been doing events in front of the fans the last couple months, but I haven't had the opportunity yet. So, it's tough because it's like I don't fight for anybody else. I fight for me. I fight to be satisfied in my performance, and I know that if I'm satisfied in my performance, then you might get the occasional troll shit talker, but the legends of the sport that built this sport aren't going to give me shit. But on the flip side, fighting in front of the fans, it's awesome. Hearing the roar of the crowd is awesome. It's a rush, and there's nothing else like it. So, that's kind of one of the reasons why 300 is kind of there. It's not set in stone, right? But I'll be pretty old, but I know 300 will be in front of fans, and to be able to make that walk, to and from the octagon, it'd be awesome to hear the appreciation that I hope I've earned.
And to that point, we just had Arlovski. Granted, heavyweights are a little bit different, but he's setting maybe 45 and a half, 46, so you got time. Mm-hmm. You got plenty of time.
Cool. Thank you.
How happy I feel when I get off here.
Aspen, I guess it might be tough to put into words, but the emotional roller coaster that I imagine this has been the last couple of weeks, what's it been like for you?
It's been pretty unreal. Obviously, the last time was pretty terrible, and then coming home from that, I was home for a few days. I was basically disconnected from people, social media, everything, and then I get this call. It's like, well, that wasn't expected, but sweet.
I know you took ownership right away. You said, look, I know what's going to happen, but this is just the reality of what it is. People still were not very kind to you. I guess you said you unplugged. Were you surprised at all to get that kind of reaction, or did you just know, like, I know this is exactly what's coming?
No, I knew that was exactly what's coming. Especially with what we do, we're very accessible in the media, and social media-wise, people are always on there. So it's not surprising when you do well, and when something bad happens, you get shit on.
What was going through your mind that morning of weigh-ins? I mean, did you know, like, there's just no way this is going to happen? And, I mean, do you have to have those battles? Like, do we keep trying? And, I mean, do we put our health at risk? I mean, what was all that like?
No, we were still trying up until the end. Like 3 hours trying to get the last pound off. Wasn't going to happen. Didn't happen. Went right to weigh-ins from cutting weight and did the best we could.
And I guess I didn't, to be certain, did the commission rule you ineligible, or did she decline to take the fight?
No, she declined to take the fight. But that's her right.
I was going to say, did that frustrate you at all? I mean, do you feel like that added to what happened? I mean, do you put any of that blame on her?
No, I don't blame the other fighter. I mean, it's in the reverse of the situation, I would have taken it, but that's just because also she's getting a fair chunk of my purse. But everybody reacts to things differently and makes her own decisions, and she chose not to fight, and that's, as I said, her right.
Right. So the fans, obviously, they're going to say what they say. You had Miesha Tate come out and criticize you pretty hard. I mean, I guess there's some history, and maybe it's all about some matchmaking, especially since she's active. But did that, register on your radar, and what did you make of all that?
A little bit. I respect Miesha very much as a fighter, and I've wanted to fight her since she came back. She is probably one of the biggest names in women's MMA besides Ronda and Cyborg. So when she came back, I think all the 35ers wanted a piece of her. And I'm one of them. So I don't know, there's just a thing where somebody else is going through something that's not very pleasant. I'd rather never make them feel worse or comment on it. It's like, why? You're just putting more negativity out there. Other people don't feel that way. So we'll see. Maybe we'll meet down the road.
In her accusation especially, because it's one thing for people to talk about you missing weight, right? It's another one to maybe call in your character that you're attempting to cheat the system. I mean, did that stand out to you, or what do you say to people that you were trying to cheat somehow?
No, I was dying at the time. Very, very bad all the way around. But I don't know. Everybody's different, man. Everybody thinks their own way and acts their own way, whether it's negative, positive, whatever.
Fair enough. So all that gets over. You get back with the team. At that point, is the decision made like, hey, we're going to 45, or does the UFC call and say, hey, we've got this opportunity at 45? What do you think? How did that play out?
We'd been planning on going to 45 as well as 35, but 45 the last couple of years we've been talking about it, and the UFC was aware of that. Before this last fight, there was talk of doing a 45 fight instead. It was just trying to get through that last one. And is 45 the only weight class? No. It's just going to take me a good long while to do 35 and do it healthy. But no, we've been talking about 45 for a while, and this fight was completely unexpected. Like, they called me on Wednesday.
So it wasn't like you volunteering, it was them reaching out to you and saying,
Yeah.
oh, by the way, here's something we got for you.
Yeah, no, heck no. What happened was as soon as Holly fell out, I don't know who they called first. I'm assuming they probably called other people, but Norma's a dangerous opponent. I didn't know anything about her. I didn't know it was 5 rounds. I did not know it was a main event. I just knew that Holly fell out and the fight was 45, and I was like, all right, sweet. This feels kind of like fate. Let's do it.
So what happens when they say, oh, by the way, it's 5 rounds, and oh, by the way, it's a main event? Does that, like, intimidate you, or is it crazy? Do you like it? How does that feel?
It's like, well, shit, let's do this. That's honestly, it was exciting.
What have you learned about Norma in the time since? I mean, I'm sure you've probably studied some tape or what. I mean, what do you know now about her?
Heavy striker. She comes to bang. She throws hard. She throws down. And I think this is a potential fight of the night.
But to be clear, you're saying this is not your permanent division. It's going to be your division for a while. You expect to do this for a while, but you do see a return to 35?
I do. We'll talk after this fight with the people that matter about if the next one will be at 35 or 45. But obviously I can take a 45 on a 10-day notice. I can take a 45 on a 6-week notice kind of thing. 35, I cannot. It takes me a long time and has to be exact. So this is just an opportunity for me to fight more and to be more healthy doing it.
And healthy, I think, is the key word, right? So I think people were curious, like, how much would you go up? Like, is this 2 weeks? Has it been 2 more weeks of weight cutting to keep you at 45? Or, I mean, do you feel healthy? What has this time been like?
I'm not cutting weight to make this fight. I've been trying to get to 35 for so long, you get pretty low. And I had not put on much weight by the time they called me for this one. So a couple days of dieting, and no, there's no weight cut involved.
I'm sure you probably haven't paid attention to it, but there are fans that say she doesn't deserve this opportunity. You know, you just missed weight. How can you be in a main event? Have you heard any of that? And if so, I mean, how do you address that?
Oh yeah. Well, we're the ones that are ready to take it. You got to use your brain a little bit there, a little bit of deductive reasoning. After the last one, do you think they called me first? No. They called other people, and it's a dangerous opponent on short notice. Nobody else took it. We did. So we get the opportunity.
Nice. Last thing for me. 45 is an interesting division, right? Because there's not a lot of fighters there. So, I mean, you win here. I mean, we're talking about title discussion, aren't we? I mean, do you feel like, hey, I could go from this into a fight with Amanda Nunes?
The same woman is at the top of both heaps there, and it's the same very dangerous opponent. I don't know. 45 is very interesting because right now there's not much substance. But I think they're about to sign Kayla Harrison. At least they're going to try to. She had her last fight with PFL, and I think they're going to build the division around her. They want new blood and new faces. So I think over the next couple years, featherweight, if that happens, will flesh out pretty good.
Hey, Aspen. Just going back to the last weight cut and stuff. When she's saying, no, I don't want to take the fight now that you're overweight, do you have any negotiations? Can you offer her more of your purse? Or is there many talks in trying to get her to take that fight? Because I assume once you're on the scale, you're like, look, it's what it is. I still want to fight tomorrow.
Yeah, no, we wanted to fight regardless. And she was already taking a very decent chunk. And obviously there was discussions like, is there anything we can do? But no.
Did she give, or do you know any reason why she decided to say no? I know it's her right, but did she give any inclination as to why?
Nope, just she decided to exercise her right not to take it.
You said that you expected the fans and you expected the backlash you were going to get. Does that make it easier or harder? Does that make it when you go, well, I know I'm about to get shit on, so whatever, or it's like, oh, I'm about to get shit on, this is going to really suck?
I think it depends. Like, it only really matters if it's somebody you care about. So, yeah, it's not pleasant when you have 500 douchebags you don't know talking shit. More than that. But at the same time, it's not like it's my family. It's different.
Does it, I mean, we spoke about it a minute ago, does it hurt worse than when it's one of your peers like Misha?
Not at all, because I want to fight Misha.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right, we good? Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, I'll see you now.
Why would I ask her why?